What's going on, people in internet land? Kimchi Chris here, and welcome to today's brand new episode of Rock Bliss with Kimchi Chris. And today we are looking at a controversial subject, one that continues to rise out of the ocean like the Loch Ness Monster and conquer all Kiss fans on the internet. It divides families, it divides relationships, it gets people kicked out of houses, it gets people thrown on the streets, it gets people kicked out of Facebook fan groups. Because that's plainly very important compared to all those other things we just talked about. But it is a hot topic again, and I've never touched it on the channel, so let's just dive in head first. Is Paul Stanley from Kiss lip syncing on the current tour? And if he is, how do you feel about it? So these are the questions and accusations that are awkwardly being thrown all over the place. So this really came to light when the End of the Road started a couple years back, because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Paul's voice sounded better. It didn't sound like 1975 Paul, didn't even sound like 1985, 1995, or 2005 Paul, but it sounded different than the previous tours. He's an older gentleman, he's been touring for a long time. It's very, very rare that your voice is going to sound the same at 65 as it did at 25, but regardless, people were noticing and things were getting a little bit, as Paul would say himself, rough. And then out of nowhere on the End of the Road tour, he sounded very rejuvenated. Now, some people were quickly throwing accusations his way that he was lip syncing. Some people were saying that he rested up for a while and now he sounded better. Some people were saying it was more of a sprinkling of these vocal enhancements. It wasn't every single part of the show. And, you know, the thing is, none of us know. None of us are the sound guy. None of us are the people behind the scenes guiding the Kiss monster city to city. So none of us know for sure, but there sure are a lot of people online that think they know everything about the music industry. These people generally have never played in a live band as well, but they think they know everything, and, you know, more power to them. Let them continue to have those opinions. They also think they know everything about me and everything about you, so just take it for what it's worth. So past these accusations being thrown at the greatest frontman in rock and roll history, a new question came up, and that question was, if he is lip syncing every single word to every single song every single night, are you okay with it? This also divided fans. This is not an easy subject to tackle because Kiss fans are super passionate. They're also super crazy sometimes and very cringe. We know that. We're all Kiss fans watching this video. I know I've been cringe before, as have all of you, but it's really gotten worse in recent years. Some of these people really just don't like anything the band does, and that's perfectly fine. That's a valid opinion to have. You can hate everything the band does. You don't have to support them. Also, you don't have to let it consume every second of your life if that's the path that you're choosing to take with your Kiss fandom. So I could sit here all night and summarize all of the events that have unfolded since the End of the Road with these accusations, and I could continue to sit here and criticize Kiss fans with a little too much time and a little too much pent-up hostility for hours on end. That's not what we're here for. We are here to really delve into what I think about this, because this is my channel. So recently a video has emerged that shows Paul, well, messing up if he's lip syncing. Messing up pretty bad because there's some audio played and he's not up at the mic, and it does look awfully damaging to the reputation of Paul as a vocalist because he's not even near the mic. And I get it. If you see someone's mouth just moving and the words aren't matching up and they're just going on 90 miles a minute, they just keep going and going and going and going, it gets very, very annoying when the words don't sync up with the facial expressions. But while this is damaging, I don't think it's every part of the story here. We don't know what's going on exactly with this video. It's from a cell phone. The audio could be out of sync. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily the case, but it could be. This video that's been floating around could have been doctored itself. We don't know these things. Now, I know there's going to be some people on the other side of this camera saying that I've drank the Kool-Aid and I believe everything that Kiss tells me. No, that's not the case, but we just don't know every detail. We really don't. And it's for one part of the song. We don't know how many fake vocals are in there versus real vocals. Because let's be fair, almost every band out there that's on an arena level at this point, especially in the classic rock category, you might not want to admit it, but a lot of them use backing tracks, extra singers. They use something to enhance their performance. If they don't, they end up sounding like John Bon Jovi on his last tour, and nobody wants to sound like John Bon Jovi on his last tour, but even he had the other guys singing backup vocals on that. The other alternative is you could sound like Vince Neil. We don't really want that. And the funny part of that is that the last Motley Crue tour before they came back, which is happening pretty darn soon as of the release of this episode, there were still backing tracks on stage for the gang vocals. So this is nothing new. This is nothing new. I remember the first time it really hit me that bands use pre-recorded vocals was when I was quite a bit younger and I was watching an Aerosmith video that was live, and it sure was, but I was hearing Steven Tyler's voice multiple times over, and then it hit me. They were using some pre-recorded tracks to help expand upon the vocals that were on stage. It's a very, very common practice. I'm not saying it's a necessarily great practice in some ways, but you want these big choruses and these verses even and everything to sound really good in a live setting, especially when you're in an arena or a stadium or in a giant field. And, you know, if you don't think a lot of these other bands do it, you're just denying everything that's, well, happening in live rock and roll at this point. But on the other hand, if you want everything live, that's completely your prerogative. Completely your prerogative. There are certain bands that wouldn't be able to use this kind of stuff. They're mostly bands that aren't at Kiss's level, though. For example, if you go see Guitar Wolf, you better believe it's all live, because that stuff is too chaotic to put on a tape. But at the same time, they're playing clubs and it's a very different situation. So comparing Guitar Wolf to Kiss is something that probably no one has ever done in the past and probably no one will ever do again. So getting past the fact that we don't know how many of these vocals are doctored or enhanced or just straight up played over the PA, what's really important to think about here is, how does it affect you and how does it affect the audience? Now, you can choose to vote with your dollar pretty darn easily. If you really think that's what he's doing and you think it's every vocal in the performance, you don't have to go to the show. Stay home. The arenas are going to fill up regardless. I don't think that Gene and Paul are going to be too offended that you didn't go to the show. But if you really don't want that, it's the same thing as anything else related to the band. If you don't like that Tommy and Eric are wearing the makeup, if you don't like that they're still playing nearly 50 years into their career, if you don't like any of these things, stay home. It's fine. And while you're staying at home, don't get online and complain about it too awful much. I know I'm contradicting myself because I'm complaining about you complaining, and that's just ridiculous. But it's not that important. This is supposed to be entertainment, guys, and let's be fair. Kiss is very entertaining. But on the other hand, if you're willing to just kind of enter the Kiss fantasy world when you go to the show, I think you're gonna have a good time, because Kiss is an experience. You're not going there just to hear a couple songs. You're going there to experience the spectacle, and I say that as a huge Kiss fan. Yes, the music is important, and all these people through the years that have always said their music isn't good, those people are wrong, because this band wouldn't have lasted nearly 50 years at this point if the music wasn't good. But it is the spectacle. It is the visuals of the stage show. It is the explosions. It is Paul Stanley getting the crowd riled up. It is Gene Simmons breathing fire and spitting blood. It is Tommy Thayer doing his darndest to be Ace Frehley lead guitar, shooting some rockets out of his guitar. It is Eric Singer in 2022 levitating on a drum kit and getting to the very ceiling of these venues. The Kiss spectacle is something that is so big and has so many pieces, and let's be real, it's so rehearsed down to every millisecond of the show that I don't see a huge problem having some, you know, pre-recorded vocals, some enhanced vocals. I really don't. And again, I know that some people are going to get very mad about me saying that, but I don't see a huge problem with it. It's a big production. It's a huge production. And at the core of this huge production, you have Gene and Paul, two men that are well past the age of most performers. If they need a little bit of help along the way, I'm all for it. I want my last memories of Kiss on this crazy worldwide tour that's, you know, expanded to 1,000 years now. I want my last memories to be good ones. And if that includes some doctored vocals from Mr. Paul Stanley, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. It's fine. It's fine. I want my last memories to be good ones. I don't want my last memories to be Paul on stage sounding like, again, John Bon Jovi or Vince Neil. I don't want that. Paul still looks great, as does Gene and the rest of the band. They all have the visuals. That's something that Kiss luckily kind of has on their side. They can kind of project a certain age and a certain energy with the makeup and costumes. So if they need to project that with some audio, I don't know, some help in the audio department, I don't really know how to put it into words. I'm not that mad at it, and I think a lot of people are not that mad at it, because Again, every band does it, whether you really realize it or not. It's kind of the same thing on the studio side, where 90% of the bands now, they use drum machines and programs to do the drums. There are definitely some bands that still use a live drummer in the studio, but a lot of them don't. And that's perfectly fine as well. When you go to the live setting, we're just kind of bringing some of that to the live setting. So it doesn't really offend me as much as it does some people, because the other parts of it are live. Now, I'm sure some people might ask, at what point is there too much pre-recorded material for it to actually be a live show? Well, in the case of Kiss, they still have a full band, drums, guitar, bass. They have Gene's vocals, they have Eric's vocals and Tommy's. So you're only really missing one component partially, and I do think the vocals are more enhanced. That's what I think. I don't think they are as straight tape playing as a lot of people say, because if you go to the shows, he hits some bad notes here and there. Every singer does. It's human nature. So that's how it is. And that brings me to kind of my final point here. When we're watching these videos on YouTube from a cell phone, from this thing that everybody has in their hand, it's not the same as being there. You're not seeing the explosions. You're not feeling the fire. You're not hearing the music. You're not experiencing these songs that really define your entire life in some cases in a live spectacle for possibly the last time ever from the musicians that wrote them and, you know, played on them. It's a magical thing, and it's going away soon. Kiss doesn't have a lot of time left in them. I really think next year will be about it, outside of maybe the occasional pop-up show here or there, but I think next year, 2023, is going to be it. And I really just don't like how a lot of people are handling this. And I know people get very emotional about this, but the second that Kiss is over, we're going to be wishing they were back anyway. So enjoy the time that you have left with these legends, because it's not a lot of time at this point. And let's be fair, if the last 2 years taught us anything, anybody can go at any point, and then you're going to miss them even more than if they were just retiring from playing. So with all that being said, go ahead, destroy me in the comments saying that I'm making excuses for this, but I loved the end of the road shows that I saw, and I'm hoping that if that rumor comes true that they're adding a few US states next year, that I get to see them again, because it's a spectacle, and I'm gonna be very sad when it's over. So with all that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, turn on alerts when you subscribe, because otherwise you won't get any of the updates. And again, my name is Kimchi Chris. This has been Rock Bliss with Kimchi Chris, and I will see all of you on the next episode.